Good evening, everyone. Warm welcome. I hope I'm audible, visible, everything is fine. May I have a reply in the comment section? Are we good to go? I welcome you all in the next session. We call this as Finance Now, which is a finance current affairs session, which is live on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 5 p.m. I try to cover all the important finance related news, especially RBI and SEBI circulars, which can be asked directly not only in your regulatory bodies exam like RBI, SEBI, but also they are important and they are asked in your IBPS as well as SBI examinations. So before I start, I just want you guys to confirm that I'm audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go. So that without any further delay, we can start the discussion. And do share the link of this session with your friends so that everybody is aware that the class is live so that they can join us and we can discuss each and every part in much detail. Quickly join everybody. I'm still waiting for the confirmation. The moment you'll confirm, I'll start the discussion. Please check the audio as well as video. If it is fine, do let me know. Kindly confirm everybody. All good? ठीक है, तो आओ जरा स्टार्ट करते हैं. आज का सेशन काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है और काफ़ी आसान भी है क्योंकि आज जो हम न्यूज़ डिस्कस करेंगे, फर्स्टली दे आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट एंड सेकेंडली दे आर इजी टू रिमेंबर as well as they can be easily recalled while answering the questions, and today's session will help you while writing a descriptive answer as well. ठीक है, तो आओ स्टार्ट करते हैं आज के इस सेशन को. So let's get started with the first news. The first news is more of, I would say, descriptive in nature rather than objective. I want you to understand a very important concept which was given in a newspaper article. So basically, you can call it as a newspaper article discussion, but yes, this article is important. So let's get try to understand this point. So RBI relies more on forward market to defend the rupee. अब ये पूरी न्यूज है क्या, एक मैं जल्दी से एक ओवरव्यू दे देता हूँ. जिसको नहीं पता मैं उसको जल्दी से बता दूं. हम सब जानते हैं कि इंडिया इज फॉलोइंग floating exchange rate method, which means the exchange rate in India is not fixed, rather it is changing, and this exchange rate depends on demand as well as supply. So demand and supply of US dollar, if we are comparing it, so US dollar, we talk about the demand and supply of US dollar on the basis of which its exchange rate in India is decided. We all know that whenever the demand increases in comparison to supply, the prices will increase. We know that. But if you don't know, then I would add a word that RBI basically follows managed floating rate. RBI basically follows managed floating exchange rate, which means RBI 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 itself get into the operations. RBI itself try its level best to control the exchange rate of currency. And how RBI do that? Sir, RBI tries to increase the supply of US dollars so that with respect to demand, the difference between the demand and supply can be decreased, and if it is decreased, the depreciation of the currency can be avoided. Depreciation of the currency can be avoided, or it can be reduced, or depreciation जितना होना चाहिए था उससे कम depreciate हो. We call this as managed floating exchange rate. Even we call it as managed flexible exchange rate. It's used in both the manners. Now the question over here is कि sir RBI tries to increase the supply in the market. उसका तरीका क्या हो सकता है? सर तरीका बड़ा सिंपल है. RBI क्या करे? अगर मैं RBI हूं तो मैं क्या करूंगा? I am having forex reserves, so I will try to increase the flow of these forex reserves in the market ताकि supply increase हो जाए. And if the supply of foreign currency increases, the depreciation of rupee will fall down, या फिर depreciation rupee का कम होगा. अब उसे मार्केट में सर्कुलेट करने के बहुत सारे तरीके हैं, जिसमें से आरबीआई प्रेफर अ मेथड वी कॉल इट एज फॉरवर्ड मार्केट. RBI basically prefer a method which is known as forward market operation. So RBI go with forward market operation in order to manage the exchange rate of the currency, in order to manage or in order to avoid the depreciation of Indian rupees. तो आज के हमारे जो टॉपिक्स हैं उसमें सबसे पहला जो इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है, विल टॉक अबाउट फॉरवर्ड मार्केट ऑपरेशन. आखिरकार ये क्या है, आरबीआई से कैसे यूज करता है in order to control, in order to decrease the inflation rates in the country. ठीक है जी, स्टार्ट करें. शैल वी स्टार्ट विद द डिस्कशन. मोटी मोटी बात समझ आएगी. आज हम पढ़ने के वाले हैं इसमें. इफ इट इज क्लियर गिव मी यस सर. If it is clear, give me yes, sir. चलो, let's get started with the discussion. पहला पॉइंट क्या कहते हैं सर, आरबीआई has increasingly relied on foreign exchange forward market to stabilize the Indian rupee rather than relying solely on spot market interventions. RBI's net outstanding short forward position reached $106 billion at the end of May 2026. अब पॉइंट ये आता है कि सर what is this forward market or what is net outstanding short forward dollar position which has been mentioned on the screen, which we will be discussing in some time. अब क्वेश्चन ये है कि सर आरबीआई एक्चुअली करता क्या है. सर अगर मैं ट्रेडिशनली बात करूं, आरबीआई मैनेज द एक्सचेंज रेट वॉलेटिलिटी बाय इंटरवेनिंग इन द स्पॉट फॉरेन एक्सचेंज मार्केट. स्पॉट मतलब करंट मार्केट, जहां पे डॉलर और रुपीस को एक्सचेंज किया जा रहा है एट द करंट प्राइस. आज अगर मान लो $1 100 का, तो दिस इज द स्पॉट मार्केट. सो वेयर द डॉलर इज सोल्ड फ्रॉम इट्स फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स टू मीट एक्सेस डिमांड एंड सपोर्ट द रुपी. तो ट्रेडिशनली आरबीआई को करना क्या चाहिए सर, आरबीआई अपने फॉरेक्स रिजर्व में जो डॉलर्स पड़े हैं वो मार्केट में बेच दे. अगर मार्केट में बेचेगा एट द करंट प्राइस, एट द स्पॉट प्राइस, तो मार्केट में सप्लाई ऑफ डॉलर्स विल इंक्रीज एंड द डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ करेंसी विल फॉल डाउन. लेकिन प्रॉब्लम ये है, so we have prolonged global uncertainties, including geopolitical tensions, elevated crude oil prices, and foreign portfolio investment outflows, which led to persistent depreciation pressure on the rupee. कि भैया सिर्फ यही नहीं कि we are importing and for the purpose of import we need the dollars, and because of which the dollar is depreciating the rupee. It's not the only case. The cases or the reasons are geopolitical tensions, elevated crude oil prices, and foreign portfolio investment, which is negative in India, which means outflow is more than inflow. It is creating a pressure. On the Indian rupee. Second point है, frequent spot interventions reduce forex reserve. अगर आप frequently इन्वॉल्व होंगे, इंटरवीन करेंगे इन दी स्पॉट मार्केट, दैट मींस आज अगर डॉलर $100 का, तो आरबीआई ने अपने डॉलर बेचने शुरू कर दिए, तो उससे होगा क्या, इससे क्या होगा सर, इट विल रिड्यूस द फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स विद द आरबीआई एंड अब्सॉर्ब्ड लिक्विडिटी फ्रॉम द बैंकिंग सिस्टम. तो एक तरफ तो आपने क्या कर दिया सर, फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स जो आरबीआई के हैं वो कम हो गए क्योंकि आपने मार्केट में डॉलर बेच दिया, तो आपके जो रिजर्व्स हैं, आरबीआई के जो रिजर्व्स हैं, दे विल फॉल डाउन. एंड सेकंड इज, आपने बेचा किसको, यू विल सेल इट टू द बैंक्स. तो बैंक के पास जो लिक्विडिटी थी, बैंक के पास जो आईएनआर थे, वो आपने मार्केट से रिमूव कर दिए. तो यहां पे तो दो प्रॉब्लम्स आ गई. पहली प्रॉब्लम तो क्या कि आरबीआई का अपना फॉरेक्स रिजर्व कम हो गया, और दूसरी तरफ बैंक की लिक्विडिटी क्या हो गई, कम हो गई. सो इन ऑर्डर टू एड्रेस दीज चैलेंजेस, आरबीआई ग्रेजुअली shifted towards combination of spot market intervention, forward contract and foreign exchange swaps. तो अब आरबीआई सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं करता कि आज जितने का डॉलर है उतने डॉलर अपने फॉरेक्स रिजर्व से बेच दो. ना ना ना, आरबीआई कहता है ये सही नहीं है, क्योंकि इससे क्या होगा, एक तो मेरे फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स कम होंगे, और दूसरा मार्केट में जो बैंक्स हैं उनकी लिक्विडिटी कम होगी. तो दोनों ही केसेस आर नॉट एक्सेप्टेड बाय आरबीआई. सो दैट इज the reason what RBI do, sir. RBI not only rely on the spot market. ऐसा नहीं है कि RBI directly sell the dollars on the current prices. Rather, RBI participate in the forward market as well as RBI participate in the foreign exchange swaps as well. लेकिन उन सब में से जो सबसे ज्यादा RBI rely करता है, RBI rely on forward market और RBI rely on forward मार्केट इंटरवेंशंस। अब ये फॉरवर्ड मार्केट इंटरवेंशंस क्या है, कैसे हैं, इन पे हम बात करेंगे। तो अगर हम इन पे बात करें तो इसका आंसर क्या होगा? So what is this forex forward contract? If I talk about this forex forward contract, how will I explain this particular contract? Please pay attention. So forward forex contract, जिस पे RBI majorly depend करता है rather than spot market. What are these forward forex contract? Sir, a forward contract is basically an agreement which is done today to buy or sell a currency at a specified rate on a future date. I repeat, forward forex contract क्या है? So it is basically an agreement. एक agreement है, एक contract है which is signed between two parties A and B. A ने B से कहा कि I will be purchasing the dollars. Let's say I will be purchasing $100 million, $100 million on 30th of September, on 30th of September at $1 is equals to 100 rupees. So this agreement is signed, which says regardless of the fact, कि मार्केट में आज करंट प्राइस क्या है, मार्केट का स्पॉट प्राइस क्या है, regardless of this fact, this agreement has been signed, and this agreement is basically known as forward contract. So there is no immediate exchange of dollars, only the promise is made and settlement happens later on. So let's suppose today $1, let's suppose, I'll take an example. Let's suppose $1 is equals to 86 rupees. एक example ले रहा हूँ, है ना? An importer worries that after 3 months the dollar may become 90. So he enters into a forward contract agreement where he says that I will be buying $1 million after 3 months, at $1 is equals to 86. At $1 is equals to 86 rupees. So after 3 months, if the dollar price is somewhat different, he will be ready, or he will be allowed to buy the same at the given price, that is 86, at what the agreement has been done. Regardless of the future market rate, the importer will pay 86 rupees to buy $1 so that he can pay to the import bills, which is going to happen in next 3 months. Now, what is the forex forward market? So when we use this word forex forward market, तो पहले तो हमने contract देखा. Now we are talking about forex forward market. So forex forward market is where such future currency contracts are traded. So it's a market where contracts are traded. तो जो वो मैंने अभी आपको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बताया, व्हाट इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, जहां पे उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को ट्रेड किया जाता है, दैट इज बेसिकली नोन एज फॉरेक्स फॉरवर्ड मार्केट. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ एक्सचेंजिंग डॉलर्स टुडे, participants, they agree to exchange them in near future, and the participants include RBI, it include banks, it include exporters, it include importers, it include mutual fund companies, it include large corporates as well, which are involved. Now, how does RBI? Now, basically, how does RBI use this market? ये हमारे लिए सबसे important point है to understand. So, instead of selling dollars immediately, RBI sign or enters into a forward contract where it promises to deliver dollars in future if required. तो RBI ने क्या कहा? RBI ने एक agreement sign किया, let's say with SBI, and RBI says that I'm ready to sell $1 million on 30th of September at $1 is equals to, let's say, 90 rupees, regardless of the fact what is the current price of the market, what will be the future price of the dollar. और ये बोल दिया SBI को कि अगर आपको जरूरत हुई तो मुझसे डॉलर ले लेना, और अगर जरूरत ना हुई तो कोई बात नहीं, जो आपका डिफरेंस होगा प्रॉफिट या लॉस का, वो आपके लिए मैं पे कर दूंगा. सो दिस इन्फ्लुएंसेस मार्केट एक्सपेक्टेशंस विदाउट इमीडिएटली रिड्यूसिंग द रिजर्व्स. तो इससे क्या हुआ सर, आरबीआई ने प्रॉमिस कर दिया दैट आई विल बी गिविंग यू $1 million टू एसबीआई ऑन 30th of September. तो हमें पता है कि मार्केट में सप्लाई आने वाली है $1 million की. Everybody is aware that there is a incoming supply of $1 million in the market on 30th of September. तो जब ये सप्लाई मार्केट में होगी, और उसके corresponding whenever the demand will change, it will not result in राइट अवे डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ द करेंसी, क्योंकि जैसी डिमांड बढ़ी, किसी ने कहा डिमांड बढ़ी, कोई बात नहीं यार, डिमांड बढ़ रही है, क्या प्रॉब्लम है, हम सप्लाई भी तो बढ़ा रहे हैं, आरबीआई ने प्रॉमिस किया दैट आरबीआई विल गिव मी $1 billion after 3 months. Suppose speculators they believe that rupee will fall sharply. मान लो मैं बिलीव कर रहा हूं कि रुपी जो है it will fall sharply. Everyone start buying dollars instead of immediately selling dollars. So instead of immediately selling dollars, everyone will be buying dollars. So RBI ने announce किया I will supply $20 billion after 3 months through a forward contract. तो जितने भी मार्केट पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं दे रियलाइज दैट फ्यूचर डॉलर अवेलेबिलिटी होगी एंड दैट विल बी एडिक्वेट अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ डॉलर. तो बाइंग, जो पैनिक बाइंग है, जो पैनिक बाइंग है, दैट पैनिक बाइंग विल स्टॉप. नो वन इज नाउ बाइंग द डॉलर्स कीपिंग इन माइंड कि भैया अगर फ्यूचर में डॉलर के प्राइस बढ़ गए तो क्या करेंगे. आरबीआई ने कहा टेंशन मत लो यार, मैं आपको $20 मिलियन का सप्लाई दूंगा 3 महीने बाद. तो जो पैनिक बाइंग है वो कम हो गई. उसके साथ साथ जो आईएनआर इंडियन रुपीस के ऊपर प्रेशर था वो भी कम हो गया. इंडियन रुपीस के ऊपर जो प्रेशर था वो भी क्या हो गया, कम हो गया. तो इससे क्या होगा, जो रुपी का डेप्रीसिएशन बहुत ज्यादा होने वाला था वो डेप्रीसिएशन अब नहीं होगा, वो डेप्रीसिएशन अब उस लेवल पे नहीं होगा. ठीक है जी. अब इसमें एक और कॉन्सेप्ट है आरबीआई से रिलेटेड, जो कॉन्सेप्ट है शॉर्ट फॉरवर्ड डॉलर पोजीशन. शॉर्ट फॉरवर्ड dollar position. Now, what is this for short forward dollar position? The short forward dollar position means the short position means you have agreed to sell something in near future. That means RBI agreed to sell foreign currency in नियर फ्यूचर. तो आरबीआई ने जितनी फॉरेन करेंसी नियर फ्यूचर में बेचने का वादा किया, प्रॉमिस किया, दैट इज आरबीआई शॉर्ट पोजीशन. सो इन फॉरेक्स मार्केट इफ आरबीआई agrees to sell dollars later on, then in that case RBI has a short dollar position. Today RBI signs a contract, let's say that I will sell $5 million after 2 months. So today no dollars move, but RBI is committed to sell dollars later, hence the short dollar position of RBI is going to be what? Sir, it is going to be $5 billion. ठीक है जी, क्लियर होगी बात. अब इसमें एक और पॉइंट है which we must know, एक और कॉन्सेप्ट है which should be clear to us. The next concept which is need to be clear to us is that is net outstanding. That is net outstanding short forward dollar position. Net outstanding short forward dollar position. A question is, sir, what is the meaning of this net outstanding? See, outstanding means contract that are still active or not settled. तो आउटस्टैंडिंग का मतलब क्या हो गया सर, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट, एक्टिव कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो कि सेल नहीं हुए, अभी तक सेटल नहीं हुए. और नेट वर्ड का मतलब क्या है सर, फॉरवर्ड डॉलर सेल्स माइनस फॉरवर्ड डॉलर सेल्स माइनस फॉरवर्ड डॉलर परचेज. तो अगर आरबीआई ने फ्यूचर में डॉलर सेल करने की बात की है तो कहीं ना कहीं आरबीआई ने फॉरवर्ड डॉलर परचेज करने की भी बात की होगी. तो उन दोनों का जो डिफरेंस है दैट विल गिव अस द नेट वैल्यू. फॉर एग्जांपल आरबीआई हैज अग्रीड टू सेल $120 billion. RBI has agreed to purchase $100 billion. So what will be the net outstanding short forward position of RBI? So that is going to be $20 billion. That is basically going to be $20 billion. ठीक है जी. Is it clear? Is it clear? अब इससे यार पॉइंट ये आता है कि सर आरबीआई ने ये क्यों किया? Why RBI went on with forward dollar position or why RBI went on with forward contract, forward foreign exchange contract या foreign currency contract? इसके पीछे आरबीआई का क्या लॉजिक है? सर आरबीआई ने कहा कि इफ आई एम गोइंग विद स्पॉट मार्केट ट्रांजेक्शंस, इन केस ऑफ स्पॉट मार्केट ट्रांजेक्शंस आरबीआई का रिजर्व आज कम हो गया क्योंकि आरबीआई ने आज के रेट पे डॉलर्स मार्केट में बेच दिए, तो आरबीआई का जो फॉरेक्स रिजर्व है दैट विल डिक्रीज. But that is not appropriate for RBI. Rather, it's good that we sign a forward contract and in near future, whenever it will be required, we will be selling the dollars. तो हमने डॉलर बेचे भी नहीं, लेकिन बिना डॉलर बेचे मार्केट में डॉलर की सप्लाई भी एडिक्वेट कर दी कि कल परसों 15 दिन बाद आरबीआई डॉलर बेचने वाला है, तो मार्केट में सप्लाई भी एडिक्वेट हो गई, डिमांड को कोप अप भी कर लिया, प्लस एक्चुअल में डॉलर्स फ्लो आउट भी नहीं हुए आउट ऑफ द आरबीआई फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स. सो दिस इज द बेनिफिट ऑफ दीज कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स. This is the benefit of these contracts. Now, I'm pretty sure you must be in a position to understand this line. RBI net outstanding short forward dollar position is what? So RBI is now responsible to sell $106 billion in the near future, while completing the contract, while executing the contract, while settling the contract. But इससे हुआ क्या? आरबीआई ने आज डॉलर्स मार्केट में दिए नहीं, लेकिन आरबीआई इज सपोज टू इंक्रीज द सप्लाई ऑफ डॉलर्स बाय $106 billion in the market, which is helping RBI to control its currency exchange rate. So the use of forward has increased significantly since 2020. Reason is, so the article identifies several factors. The first is rising global crude oil price due to the geopolitical tension, strong US dollar in international market, FPI outflows from India, increased demand for US dollars by importers and global uncertainty are the reasons जिसके पीछे आपका जो रुपी है that is depreciating. Now RBI's short forward dollar position means RBI is committed to sell US dollars and receive rupee on a future date. Thus, RBI does not immediately sell the dollar from its reserves. It creates a contractual obligation to deliver dollars when contract matures. The outstanding contract constitute of RBI forward liability, and at the end of May 2026, RBI's forward liability was $106.6 billion, highest till date. Highest till date. Why RBI is increasing the use of forward market intervention? So obviously it helps RBI in conserving its forex reserves. It avoid immediate liquidity tightening, means banks के पास पैसा कम नहीं हो रहा, मनी मार्केट में लिक्विडिटी कम नहीं हो रही है. फॉरवर्ड इंटरवेंशंस अवॉइड लिक्विडिटी इंपैक्ट बिकॉज सेटलमेंट टेक्स प्लेस इन नियर फ्यूचर. Next is greater operational flexibility. Forward contracts, they provide RBI with greater flexibility in timing its intervention and managing temporary currency volatility without making large spot sales. बिना actual sales के RBI can increase the supply in order to control the exchange rate. That is the reason it is beneficial. तो key implications क्या हुए? Last में मैं यही कहूँगा कि RBI is increasing its dependency on forward market, enables it to stabilize the rupee. But the benefit is without depleting its foreign exchange reserves and avoid immediate withdrawal of liquidity from the system. It also provides central bank with greater flexibility in managing exchange rate volatility, strengthen its overall foreign exchange intervention toolkit by allowing it to combine spot market, forward market, as well as swap operations. However, this strategy has certain challenges. What is the challenge? A large short forward position create substantial future obligations to deliver US dollars when the contract matures, thereby reducing effective forex reserve buffer available during the period of external stress. तो भैया आज तो आप फॉरवर्ड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन कर रहे हो, लेकिन एक दिन ऐसा आएगा जब उस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को आपको क्या करना होगा? बेसिकली यू हैव टू complete that contract. Basically you have to perform that contract, and when you will be settling that contract, उस दिन आपकी जेब से पैसा कम होगा. It also requires careful management of contract maturities and rollovers to avoid market disruptions. ऐसा ना हो कि आपने एक contract sign किया लेकिन उसे settle ही नहीं किया on time. That will also need to be taken into consideration. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गई बात? तो याद क्या रखना है? तो जो फिगर है वो ये याद रखनी है, उसके अलावा सिर्फ और सिर्फ कॉन्सेप्ट है. अगर कॉन्सेप्ट समझ आ गया बहुत बढ़िया, नहीं समझ आया तो दोबारा पढ़ लेना और समझ लेना. और अगर आप अगले साल आरबीआई का एग्जाम दे रहे हैं तो फिर ये फिगर भी याद नहीं करनी, फिर उसके लिए सिर्फ और सिर्फ ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट मैंने आपको बताया, दैट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड इफ यू आर from my paid classes, you might be remembering that we have discussed this forex reserves and foreign currency exchange rate determination in the in few classes. I would say in the classes which happened few days ago or maybe few weeks ago. तो आपको ज्यादा कनेक्ट हो रहा होगा, आपको ज्यादा समझ आ रहा होगा कि हाउ आरबीआई यूज इट. लेट्स ट्राई टू सॉल्व अ क्वेश्चन. The question says, to manage volatility in rupee, Reserve Bank of India has increasingly relied on foreign exchange forward market, with its net outstanding short forward dollar position reaching a record level. In this context, consider the following statements. First, a short forward dollar position implies that RBI has agreed to sell dollars at future date. This is correct. Forward market intervention immediately reduces India's foreign exchange reserves. No, sir. It only creates the obligation which have to be fulfilled in the near future. One advantage of forward market intervention is that it avoids immediate withdrawal of liquidity from the banking system. This is correct. So answer to this particular question is going to be C statement. That is 1 and 3 are correct, but the second statement is wrong. I hope it is clear to you. I hope it is clear to you. Got it? Clear? Chalo. Now I move on to the next question. Quickly take the screenshot. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Do type the answers in the comment section. Moving on to the next question or the next news. The next news talks about Ministry of Stats and Program Implementation. So Ministry of Stats and Program Implementation has decided to use Output Producer Price Index instead of WPI index for deflating India's gross domestic product in the new GDP series. In the new GDP series. अब इन सारी चीजों को समझने से पहले एक कॉन्सेप्ट हमें समझना बहुत जरूरी है. वो कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है? सो द कॉन्सेप्ट इज आउटपुट प्रोड्यूसर आउटपुट प्रोड्यूसर प्राइस इंडेक्स. सेकेंड इज WPI. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हमें ये समझना चाहिए कि इन दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस है. इनका डिफरेंस हमें समझ आएगा तब जाकर हम आगे बढ़ पाएंगे. एंड देन आई विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द डिफ्लेटर वाला पार्ट, है ना, कि डिफ्लेटर में इसका क्या रोल है, उस पर हम बात करेंगे. तो सबसे पहला, द WPI एंड आउटपुट प्रोड्यूसर price index, these are basically used to calculate the inflation rates of the country. For example, we have CPI, consumer price index. In a similar manner, we have WPI, wholesale price index. So wholesale price index and output producers price index, they both measure the price at early stage of the supply chain, but they are fundamentally different from each other. So many countries like US, UK, Japan, Australia, they have replaced or supplemented traditional WPI with the producer price index, and India is also going for the same. India is also going for the same. So let's try to understand how it's going to happen. So whenever we talk about the flow is in this manner. For example, farmer is producing wheat. Then wheat is purchased by the manufacturer who convert the uh, wheat into let's say biscuit. Then these biscuits are sold to the wholesaler sell it to the retailer, and from retailer it reaches to the consumer. From retailer it reaches to you and me, that is the consumer. So price changes at every stage, we all know that. So what is WPI? The WPI is basically the wholesale price index, which measures the average change in price of goods which are traded in bulk at wholesale level. For example, it focuses on prices before the goods reach the retail consumer. I repeat, it basically targets or it basically focuses on the price before the goods reach the retail consumer. So WPI is basically published by uh, it is published by Office of Economic Advisor, Office of the Economic Advisor, which is operating under Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade under the Ministry of Commerce, under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay? In case of WPI, we have different articles like primary articles, we have manufactured articles, and even we have the third category, that is fuel and power, and they have different weightage. I hope you all are very well aware. We have discussed it a number of times. Now, for example, a sugar mill sells sugar. Sugar mill sells sugar. A sugar mill sells sugar to the wholesaler at 40 rupees, and wholesalers sell it to the retailer at 45 rupees. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Wholesalers sell it to the retailer at 45 rupees, but the manufacturers sell it at 45 to the retailer, and retailer is selling it to the consumer at 52 rupees. At 52 rupees. Now, if I talk about the WPI, the WPI will record the price at which the producer is selling it to the wholesaler. So this is the price which is going to be taken up, or which is going to be included under the WPI, which means it covers firstly only and only goods. It excludes services. It is based on wholesale transactions, and it reflects price movement earlier in the supply chain. The moment but the moment we move on to the second part, that is output PPI, which stands for producer price index, it measures the average change in price that domestic producers receive when they sell goods or services. सर ये तो वही है जो अभी आपने बोला था. But the point is, regardless who buys it. For example, if I am a manufacturer, I have certain inputs like raw material. So if I'm purchasing the raw material like steel, electricity, coal, plastic, that is my input. That is my input. But what is output? The finished goods. For example, car, machine, mobile phone, cement, that is my output. So a car manufacturer produces a car, and the cost of production is, let's say, 10 lakh rupees. Here I'm taking car. Cost of production is, let's say, 8 lakh rupees. Now this manufacturer is selling this 8 lakh rupees of car to dealer, maybe to the government, or maybe to the export consumers, and he's receiving the same price. Let's say that is 10 lakh rupees. So output PPI will record 10 lakh rupees. Output PPI will record 10 lakh rupees as the price which is received by producer, regardless of the fact who purchase it. Now the point is, sir, बोलना क्या चाहते हो? मैं बोलना ये चाहता हूं कि when we talk about wholesale price index, as the name suggests, wholesale price index means the price of the commodity when it is sold in bulk. For example, I'm a producer. I'm selling it to the wholesaler at 10 lakh rupees. Then only it will be termed as WPI. But if I'm a producer, I'm selling it to the wholesaler, I'm selling it to the government, I'm selling it to the consumer even directly at a price of, let's say, 12 lakhs. In that case, PPI will record 12 lakh rupees. So basically, PPI record price received by producer. Regardless of the fact whether it is sold to wholesaler or direct consumer. But in case of WPI, it says price paid at bulk purchase. Paid at bulk purchase. So that is a basic difference. Now how it is creating the issue जिसकी वजह से government को ये करना पड़ा? Sir, WPI asks what is the wholesale price of goods. On the other side, output PPI asks what price did the producer receive for selling the product. So this is much broader concept. For example, why the output PPI is better. Suppose a company sells directly to the consumer online. No wholesaler exists. Example, we have Tesla, we have Apple online stores, we have Dell, we have Amazon. So there is no wholesaler transaction. So WPI cannot accurately capture the price of, or cannot accurately capture such transactions, but output PPI can. So that is the reason PPI is important. Secondly, in case of WPI, we cannot capture these services. In case of WPI, we cannot capture these services because of the same reason. But now, in case of PPI, we can capture these services as well, because here we are not concerned about the bulk transaction. We are concerned about only one point, What is that point? Price received by producer. Whatsoever price is received by producer, whether it is selling it to the wholesaler, to the government, to the consumer directly, whether it is sold in bulk, single, or maybe one unit, everything, whatever the producer is receiving, that will be the part of PPI, and that is the reason PPI will include goods as well as it will be including services as well. For example, if I compare both of them, a software company develops accounting software, it sells the license directly to the businesses, and revenue is 10 crores. WPI cannot measure this because software services are not the part of WPI, but output PPI will measure because it is basically price received by the company, price received by the producer. For example, a cement company sells cement at 300 rupees per bag, now 320 rupees per bag. So it includes wholesale price. Output PPI measures the price received by the cement producer. So in that case, both may appear similar in this case, but they are different because 300 is the price which the company is charging while selling the goods in bulk. 320 when it is selling in it is selling in small units. But in case of PPI, I don't care. I will say PPI means the price received by the producer. That is a point. Is it clear? Is it clear now? Shall I move ahead? So WPI where the product is sold at wholesale level. PPI means who is selling the product, the producer, regardless of the buyer. That's it. If it is clear, give me a thumbs up. If it is clear, give me a thumbs up. अब फिर मैं न्यूज पढ़ाता हूं आपको न्यूज है क्या. So the news says Ministry of Stats and Program Implementation, they have decided to come up with output PPI instead of wholesale price index for deflating India's gross domestic product in the new GDP series. अब आपको भी पता होगा कि अब नई GDP series आ चुकी है. That means the new base year has been introduced. Now the question over here is, so what is this GDP deflator and how WPI is basically used एज जीडीपी डिफ्लेटर या फिर कैसे जीडीपी डिफ्लेटर का मतलब ही क्या, मतलब एक्चुअली मतलब ही क्या है. इफ आई गो विद द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट, देन माय आंसर वुड बी first of all we need to understand two things. One is nominal GDP, other one is real GDP. What is nominal GDP? The nominal GDP means when you calculate the GDP at current prices. For example, in 2026 we are calculating the GDP at current price. For example, iPhone 15 today is available at 80,000. So we will be including 80,000 while calculating the GDP. On the other side, what is real GDP? The real GDP basically means when we calculate the GDP, for the current year, that is 2026, by including the goods which are manufactured in the current year into price ड्यूरिंग द बेस ईयर. ये पॉइंट समझ आ रहा है कि भैया आपने अगर इस साल आईफोन 15 मैन्युफैक्चर हुए इंडिया में, तो अगर आपने 100 गुड्स इनटू उनके प्राइस से मल्टीप्लाई किया एंड द करंट प्राइस, दैट इज नॉमिनल जीडीपी. बट यू से गुड्स मैन्युफैक्चर्ड आर 100 बट द प्राइस इज टेकन इन द बेस ईयर प्राइस. और मान लो बेस ईयर में 2022-23 में the price of iPhone 15 was, let's say, 90,000. So we will be including that price. So it basically means nominal GDP. So nominal GDP means the value of goods and services at current market price are taken into consideration while calculating the GDP. For example, India, as I said, produces 100 iPhones. Price of each iPhone is, let's say, 80,000. So nominal GDP is 20 lakhs, or sorry, 80 lakhs. Now the next year, production remains same, that is 100 iPhones, but the price has increased to 22,000. It will be 22 lakhs. But what is real GDP? The real GDP means the price will be taken from the base year and only the number of goods which are produced today are taken into consideration. Now the question is, what is the concept of deflation over here? So the question of, or the concept of deflation means to convert nominal GDP into real GDP. To convert nominal GDP into real GDP, economists remove the effect of price change, and this is called as and this is called as GDP deflator, or this is called as GDP deflation. So deflation here does not mean that prices are falling. Instead, it means removing the impact of inflation. It basically means removing the impact of inflation, removing the impact of inflation from the GDP estimates. And how it is done? So it is done in this manner: nominal GDP divided by real GDP is equals to price index. It's equals to price index. So the price index used for the purpose is known as, this price index which is used is known as deflator. This price index is known as deflator. Now, why is a price index needed? Suppose nominal GDP increased from 100 lakh crores to 110 lakh crores. So the increase in 10%, but inflation is 6%. So therefore, actual production which has increased, it has only increased by 4%. Are you getting my point? हमें कहे कोई कि सर आपकी कंट्री में जो प्राइस इंक्रीज हुए हैं वो हुए हैं सर 6%, और आपकी कंट्री की जीडीपी जो इंक्रीज हुई है वो है 10%। यानी कि पहले जीडीपी 100 रुपए थी, वो बढ़कर हो गई सर 110। ठीक है, और जो प्राइस पहले 100 थे वो बढ़कर हो गए 106। तो इसका मतलब 6 रुपए का इंक्रीज तो सिर्फ प्राइस की वजह से, और एक्चुअल जो प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज हुई है वो कितने की हुई है? सिर्फ 4 रुपए की। सो ये जो एक्चुअल 4 रुपए की प्रोडक्शन इंक्रीज हुई है, दैट इज द एक्चुअल इंक्रीज इन production. So that is 4%. So earlier India used WPI, and India traditionally used WPI as a deflator because WPI prices of goods before they reach consumer, since manufacturing output is sold in the wholesale market, and WPI was considered suitable for this. But there was a problem with UPI, no, sorry, WPI. What was the problem? सर सर्विसेज इंक्लूडेड नहीं है, जो कि एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है। और आज की डेट में WPI में सर्विसेज इंक्लूडेड नहीं है। और इंडिया की इकोनॉमी की बात करें, इट्स टर्शरी सेक्टर डोमिनेटिंग इकोनॉमी, जहां पे IT सेक्टर है, टेलीकॉम है, बैंकिंग है, डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स है, ई-कॉमर्स है, ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन है, हेल्थ केयर है, लॉजिस्टिक है। सो WPI वॉज साउंडिंग इम्प्रैक्टिकल. WPI was sounding impractical, and that is the reason now we are moving on to PPI for calculating the GDP deflator. For calculating the GDP deflator. Is this point clear? Is this point clear? If it is clear, give me yes, sir. So nominal manufacturing output deflated using output PPI, more accurate real manufacturing output will be given. एक न्यूमेरिकल एग्जांपल ले लेता हूं ताकि आपको समझ आ जाए। जिसको अभी भी डाउट लग रहा है, जग सूना सूना सा है, कोई बात नहीं, उसको भी समझा देते हैं। एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल सुनना। मान लो कि एक फैक्ट्री है, ठीक है, उस फैक्ट्री ने कुछ गाड़ियां मैन्युफैक्चर की, एंड वो कार जो उसने मैन्युफैक्चर की उसकी वर्थ है 100 करोड़। कार की जो मैन्युफैक्चर की उसकी वर्थ है 100 करोड़। अगले साल उसी फैक्ट्री की जो आउटपुट है दैट इज इंक्रीज टू 110 करोड़। तो अगर हमसे कोई पूछे व्हाट इज द ग्रोथ, तो ग्रोथ इज 10%, बट दिस इज नॉमिनल ग्रोथ, क्योंकि इसमें प्राइस इफेक्ट भी इंक्लूडेड है, बिकॉज इसमें प्राइस इफेक्ट भी इंक्लूडेड है। अब मान लो यहां पर WPI आपका था 8%, तो हम क्या कहेंगे डायरेक्टली यहां से, हम क्या कहेंगे कि सर रियल ग्रोथ कितने की हुई? सर रियल ग्रोथ हुई 2% की। What is the real growth? So real growth is of 2%. That is absolutely correct. Now suppose actual producer price has increased only 5%. एक्चुअल जो प्रोड्यूसर प्राइस है वो सिर्फ इंक्रीज हुआ है कितना? 8% की जगह 5%, क्योंकि WPI तो इन जनरल है। नाउ वी विल बी टेकिंग PPI, दैट इज द एक्चुअल प्रोड्यूसर प्राइस। इफ इट इज इंक्रीज 5%, देन फ्रॉम दैट वी विल गेट टू नो दैट आवर एक्चुअल ग्रोथ or the real growth is not 2%, rather it is 5%. Our real growth is not 2%, rather it is 5%. Is it clear everybody? तो सिंपल है सर, WPI में सर्विसेज नहीं है, इसीलिए बेटर ऑप्शन नहीं है। सेकेंड इज होलसेल मार्केट जो है दैट इज श्रिंकिंग, बिकॉज मैन्युफैक्चरर दे आर डायरेक्टली सेलिंग द गुड्स टू द कंज्यूमर्स सच एज Amazon, Flipkart, D2C ब्रांड्स, ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म्स, गवर्नमेंट प्रोक्योरमेंट, एक्सपोर्ट्स। तो वो जो बीच में मीडिएटर था होलसेलर वाला, वो बहुत कम हो गया, धीरे धीरे उड़ता जा रहा है, धीरे धीरे खत्म होता जा रहा है। तो ये प्रैक्टिकली सूटेबल नहीं था, इसीलिए दिस चेंज हैज बीन अनाउंस्ड। तो पढ़ते हैं इसको। द रिवाइज्ड मेथड इज एक्सपेक्टेड टू बी रिफ्लेक्टेड in the GDP estimates for April to June quarter 2026. The reform aligns to improve accuracy of real GDP estimates, align India's national account with the international best practices, strengthen the quality of macroeconomic stats. Although WPI will continue to be published, it will gradually be phased out as GDP deflator where output PPI is available. So wherever output PPI is available, वहां पर we will remove WPI while calculating the GDP deflator. So WPI has been replaced by output PPI. Adoption of double deflation. The new GDP series expands the use of double deflation where output is deflated using output PPI. Inputs are also deflated separately through input PPI. तो भैया अब यहाँ पर आपका जो आउटपुट है उसे भी डिफ्लेट करेंगे एंड जो आपका इनपुट है उसे भी डिफ्लेट करेंगे डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द प्राइसेस. दैट इज द रीजन वी कॉल इट एज डबल डिफ्लेशन. ये पॉइंट याद रखिएगा. एंड ऑफ सिंगल डिफ्लेशन कि भैया पहले जो सिंगल डिफ्लेशन था कॉमन प्राइस इंडेक्स वो एंड हो गया. Sector wise deflation, double deflation has already been adopted in sectors such as manufacturing and agriculture. In sectors where it is not yet feasible, an appropriate combination of PPI, WPI and CPI has been used. Then we have introduction of PPI. The reform has become possible after the DPIIT introduced output PPI, input PPI, services PPI in June 2026. Improved statistical accuracy, limited impact on growth rates, and that is it. ठीक है जी. तो बेसिकली WPI is now replaced by output PPI while calculating the GDP deflator in order to identify the real GDP growth rate of the country. If it is clear, give me a thumbs up. If it is clear, give me a thumbs up. अगर यहां तक कोई डाउट तो पूछो, else I will be moving ahead. Done? Chalo. Let's solve a question on the same. The Ministry of Stats and Program Implementation has announced the output producer price index will gradually replace WPI for GDP deflator in the new GDP series. In this context, consider the following statements. First, output PPI will replace WPI as the primary deflator for GDP wherever feasible. That is correct. New GDP series completely eliminates the use of CPI for all the sectors. Use of CPI for all the sectors. नहीं सर, ऐसा तो नहीं है. ये पूरा ही हटा दिया. जहां फिजिबल नहीं है वहां आज भी CPI को यूज किया जा रहा है. The reform aims to align India's national account with the international best practices क्योंकि most of the countries they are following PPI. That is true. So answer to this particular question is B statement 1 and 3 are correct. 1 and 3 are correct. Next question is now on your screen. Take the screenshot. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Take the screenshot. I'll move on to the next news. The next news कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं है, ज़्यादा बात करूंगा भी नहीं. छोटी सी न्यूज़ है, जल्दी से खत्म करेंगे. न्यूज़ क्या है सर? RBI ने अनाउंस किया था that RBI is coming up with polymer notes, that is plastic bank notes, और ट्रायल बेसिस पे 10 और 20 रुपी या 10 और 20 डिनोमिनेशन के जो नोट्स हैं that will be printed and they will be issued regularly. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि पेपर नोट्स will be removed, they will be in circulation along with the paper notes. ठीक है. तो 1 billion pieces, 1 billion means 10 to the power 9 means 100 crore number of notes will be printed of 10 and 20 rupees denomination, which will be polymer banknotes, that is plastic banknotes, and they will not replace the paper currency immediately, but they will be in circulation along with them, basically done to improve durability, security, cost effectiveness of the Indian currency system. एक चीज मुझे समझ नहीं आई, वो ये, एक तरफ हम कहते हैं कि इंडियाज इकोनॉमी इज बिकमिंग डिजिटल, वी आर रिलाइंग मेजरली ऑन डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शंस, बट यहाँ हम पेपर नोट्स को कन्वर्ट कर रहे हैं इनटू प्लास्टिक नोट्स, जिससे ये पता चलता है कि आज भी करेंसी अच्छी खासी सर्कुलेशन में है. तो उसका रीजन ये है कि सर जो रिटेल पेमेंट्स हैं, जो रिटेल ट्रांजैक्शंस हैं, दे आर स्टिल डन डिजिटली, बट जो होलसेल या आप कहो कि जो बल्क ट्रांजेक्शंस हैं, दे आर डन इन द कैश form, their settlement is done in the cash form, because of which the dependency on the cash is pretty high. So in 2009, RBI proposed issuing 10 rupees of polymer notes as a pilot project, and finally in 2012-13, RBI printed 10 rupees plastic notes, circulated in 5 cities: Kochi, Mysore, Jaipur, Shimla, Bhubaneswar, to test the polymer notes under the different climatic conditions. The project could not proceed because of several operational challenges. पहला challenge क्या था? डिफिकल्टी इन एटीएम डिस्पेंसिंग, कि भैया एटीएम मशीन्स को नए नोट्स के लिए कैलिब्रेट करना पड़ता. डिग्रेडेशन ऑफ स्पेशलाइज प्रिंटिंग इंक इन हॉट वेदर, डिग्रेड हो गई आपकी स्पेशलाइज प्रिंटिंग इंक इन दी हॉट वेदर. एंड हाई इंप्लीमेंटेशन कॉस्ट, तो जिस लेवल पे इंप्लीमेंट करना था उस लेवल पे इंप्लीमेंट नहीं हो पाया और बेटर रिजल्ट्स नहीं मिल पाए. तो फाइनली आरबीआई ने अब 2026 में डिसाइड किया कि यस, विल गो फॉर इट. आरबीआई ने प्रपोजल दिया, गवर्नमेंट ने अप्रूव किया अंडर सेक्शन 25 ऑफ आरबीआई एक्ट 1934 दैट आरबीआई विल इशू 1 billion notes of 10 as well as 20 rupees denomination. These notes will first undergo field trial before regular circulation. There is no proposal to phase out paper currency. Polymer and paper notes will circulate simultaneously. Polymer notes are currently in preliminary implementation phase. The impact on digital payment can only be assessed after regular circulation begin, and bank notes as well as digital payments are viewed as कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री पेमेंट इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स. ठीक है, तो इसकी जो प्रिंटिंग है वो कैसे होगी सर? आरबीआई करेंसी प्रिंटिंग के लिए आरबीआई की होली ओन्ड सब्सिडरी है, दैट इज भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक नोट मुद्रण प्राइवेट लिमिटेड, हैज फ्लोटेड अ ग्लोबल expression of interest for the supply of polymer substrate sheets embedded with security features. The proposed substrate includes advanced security features such as transparent window with portrait, metallic numeral, magnetic pseudo thread, shadow image as well as iridescent patterns. तो भैया ये जो हमें वो शीट चाहिए, प्लास्टिक शीट, वो हम ऑन मार्केट से ग्लोबल लेवल पर प्रोक्यूर करेंगे विद द फीचर्स. और ये प्रिंटिंग कहाँ होगी? सो प्रिंटिंग विल बी डन मेजरली इन दी 2 प्रिंटिंग प्रेस. इंडिया में वैसे 4 है, नासिक और देवास में भी है, लेकिन दे आर अंडर दी सिक्योरिटी प्रिंटिंग एंड मिंटिंग कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया. लेकिन जो भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक नोट मुद्रण प्राइवेट लिमिटेड है, इट इज हैंडलिंग दी 2 प्रिंटिंग प्रेस, दैट इज मैसूरू एंड सल्बोनी, एंड इट्स कैपेसिटी इज टू प्रिंट 100 बिलियन बैंक नोट्स इन 1 year if they are working in 2 shifts. और टारगेट क्या है सर? $1 billion notes of 10 rupee and 20 rupee denomination each. Benefits, so life span बढ़ जाएगा. Polymer notes gradually last 2 to 3 times longer. Paper notes usually last 1 to 5 years depending on denomination and usage. Lower long-term cost, although the polymer notes are costly to manufacture, but replacement cost कम हो जाएगी. Reduce printing cost over the period of time, and collection, transportation and destruction cost भी कम होगी. जो पहले एक नोट खराब हो गया, उसे कलेक्ट करो, फिर उसे डिस्ट्रॉय करो, फिर नया प्रिंट करो, वो सब कम होगा. रिड्यूस करेंसी रिप्लेसमेंट, पेपर नोट्स एब्जॉर्ब मॉइस्चर एंड बिकम डर्टी क्विकली. पॉलीमर नोट्स दे रेजिस्ट वाटर, स्वेट, डस्ट, ऑयल, फोल्डिंग, टेयरिंग. दिस सिग्निफिकेंटली रिड्यूसेस द नंबर ऑफ डैमेज नोट्स रिटर्न टू आरबीआई, जिससे रीप्रिंटिंग कम हो जाएगी. बेटर सिक्योरिटी, एनवायरमेंटल बेनिफिट्स. चैलेंजेस in adopting: high initial cost, ATM compatibility, climate related issues and infrastructure modifications are the issues. ठीक है, पढ़ लेना, ज्यादा कुछ इसमें रॉकेट साइंस है नहीं. क्वेश्चन देखते हैं. India has earlier attempted to introduce bank notes, polymer bank notes. Which of the following was one of the major reasons why earlier proposal was not implemented? Opposition from the commercial banks? No. Lack of legal approval under RBI? No. Operational challenges such as ATM dispensing issue? Yes. Degradation of specialized ink in hot climate conditions? Yes. There is one more reason. What was that reason? So that reason is degradation of specialized printing ink in the hot weather and high implementation cost. High implementation cost, this is true. Polymer banknotes were found to be more prone to counterfeit? No. India lacked currency printing presses? No. So answer एक ही बनेगा, that is C option were the reasons because of which पहले जो printing of bank notes है या printing of polymer notes है, they were not done in an appropriate manner. ठीक है जी. अगला question is now on your screen. Take the screenshot. You have 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. तो मुझे सेकंड, फोर्थ और सिक्स्थ 3 क्वेश्चंस के आपसे आंसर चाहिए. in the comment sections below. तो कमेंट सेक्शन में सेकंड क्वेश्चन, फोर्थ क्वेश्चन और सिक्स क्वेश्चन के आंसर्स दीजिए. आई विल बी कंफर्मिंग द आंसर्स एंड डू जॉइन आवर टेलीग्राम चैनल in order to download the PDF. And if you want to learn finance in much detail, our batch is already live. Do join our batch in order to learn finance, which will not only help you to clear the exam, but it will help you to serve. It will help you to serve better with RBI. I assure you that अगर आपने एक बार मेरी फाइनेंस की क्लास अटेंड कर ली और किसी ऑलरेडी वर्किंग कैंडिडेट्स के साथ डिस्कस किया, वेदर ही और शी इज वर्किंग इन RBI और मे बी एनी अदर बैंक एग्जाम्स, और उनसे अगर आपने क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस किए, यू विल रियलाइज कि जो मैंने आपको बताया दैट विल नॉट ओनली हेल्प यू, that will not only help you in clearing the exam, it will also help you in doing your job in a better manner. ठीक है जी, क्लियर हो गई बात, समझ आ गया पॉइंट? If it is clear, just give me yes sir so that we can conclude. Done? Okay. Catch you in the next session. Don't forget to give me the answers in the comment section below. Bye bye. Take care. See you. Bye.